All right, guys, I believe us to be live now. Hopefully, your Friday afternoon is going splendidly. We did the members only free to the public, guys, earlier today. Check that out. We talked through the Super Bowl, which I can't believe the NFL season wraps up here in a little, I don't know, just over 48 hours. Crazy to think that thing's ending already.
Absolutely crazy. It always feels like it does this. We're waiting for it so long. Oops, excuse me, and then it comes and goes, right?
It's like so quick that it's done. Yes. And then we have to wait that long period of time. I don't know. Like a lot of you guys, I like getting my Sundays back for about a month and a half. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for my NFL.
Yeah, I like getting my Sundays back for like a week and a half, and then I'm ready for NFL again. But we got baseball coming soon, which takes up a little bit of time for me.
Absolutely, it does. And now that Trevor Bauer has left Cincy and is on his way to the Dodgers as of this afternoon.
The rich do get richer, as they say.
Absolutely do, guys. So, as many of you have heard us announce over the last 28 hours, I'd say 24, 48 hours as I combine the two of them, we have linked up with a new partner over here at the DFS 5-Pack, something we are extremely excited about. Matt over here has been betting on sports since before a lot of you guys were born, so it's really exciting for us to announce our partnership with Jazz Sportsbook. It's jazzsports.ag for those of you who haven't played there already. We're going to be doing a lot of work with them. For the next week or so, you're going to hear us mentioning them a ton as we kind of get the partnership rolling pretty heavily down this. A lot of things to like about this. I know a lot of you fantasy sports players and DFS players are pretty heavy into the sports betting world. And excuse me. Talking a little bit too fast, but we are going to be talking with Jazz, and we've had a lot of discussions with them over the last week. If you go sign up to play there, we would appreciate you all using our promo code, which is 5-Pack. And if you do sign up, chat them, reference the 5-Pack, and they'll give you $25 free worth of Super Bowl bets that you can make in addition to the other promos that you can take advantage of by using our 5-Pack promo for first-time depositors. In addition, if you do make a first-time deposit, please let me know. And as a, just as a thank you from us, we'll give you a free 1 month of 5-Pack services. They got a lot of promotions going right now there that you can use in order to try to make some money. They got the casino games over there as well. Just a lot of fun that can be had.
Let's get it, man.
All right. Just when you are playing on there, another promotional code, enter 5-Pack, and we will be good to go. We've already been doing members-only videos the last couple of days talking about sports betting, and you'll hear us talk about this a lot more. We've also referenced since that monthly prices are going to have a subtle price bump going up. Anybody who's currently a monthly customer, your prices won't change unless you cancel and then come back 6 months later or anything like that. So if you want to lock in the $30 payments, if you lock them in, they won't change for you. Also, because we're doing that, all new monthly customers for the next week will get half of their first month off.
Let's get it, man. We got a lot of good deals going on. We got our new Discord coming open to all our customers. So, man, it's exciting.
Making moves, guys. All right, first things first, cash game lock of the day. There's a lot of them. There really are a lot of great cash game plays today. One of our mutual favorites we'll get to is also going to be a lock in cash games. As far as spending money on quote-unquote studs, Sabonis is on that mid-tier stud price precipice. You can kind of label him however you want. That's open for interpretation. But no matter where you label that price cutoff, he's going to be crazy popular tonight for a lot of obvious reasons. One, he's too cheap for what he does. This is a guy with a high floor every single night. He's a walking double-double. I mean, this guy rolls out of bed, and he already has 18 points and 9 rebounds, so he only has to throw in one more basket and another rebound to get to 20 and 10. He averages 48 DK points per game. We're not at all scared of the matchup with New Orleans. And one of my favorite facts about Sabonis today, he is one of the only guys going tonight. The Pacers are one of the few teams tonight that is on an island game. And what I mean by that is there's no end of a back-to-back. There's a lot of good plays on this slate, but a lot of them have to play tomorrow or played last night. So I like Sabonis a ton for that reason because we've seen him in the last 2 games. We saw the Pacers flat out roll on Memphis the other day. This dude was out there, well into the fourth quarter. Then we saw Milwaukee with a 40-point third quarter lead. This guy was still out there. I like a guy whose minutes are safe. There's a lot of guys I also like tonight, but if the game's a little bit lopsided, they can get rested for tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So a ton to like about Sabonis here. It's kind of the same as the last slate he was on. He's just way too cheap for who he is. This guy was priced close to 10K a couple weeks ago. No idea why he's down towards 8,600. We talked about him when he was like 10K. I think this is when they still had Oladipo. And he was a fine play, not necessarily a must, but a fine play at that price point. Now he's, $1,500 cheaper. No Oladipo. They never had Karis LeVert. He's not playing for them this year. All of a sudden, a good spot against the Pelicans. Just a lot to like here at this price. I mean, he walks into 40 plus pretty much night in and night out, and usually it's 50 plus.
Guys, side note, as far as Karis LeVert, that's awesome. The trade's great because he might have literally saved his life. And for all the other older guys out there like me, let that serve as a reminder. And I'm kind of saying this to myself because I don't do it. If something's wrong, don't be afraid to go to the doctor. I know as men, we have a tendency not to go see a doctor if we think there might be an issue, but there are serious things that can happen. So I'm really happy for him that this trade went down because it would have been a tragedy to see a young man like that go out so early.
No doubt about it, man.
All right, next guy up, Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy Butler, whatever you want to call him. So we liked him in this, literally the exact same spot just 2 days ago. He didn't play great. The game was kind of low scoring as far as what you would expect from any game that includes Washington. Dude still rolled into 44.5. That's despite a scoring error. He should have had another steal. And the fact that he was I think a board and assist or 2 boards and assist away from a triple-double. So there was, to quote you, a lot of meat on the bone. Now they lost again, you get extra pissed off, Jimmy.
I already thought last game we were going to see a sense of urgency from him, having lost that game to Charlotte at home. Didn't see it as much as I would have liked. Still, like you said, walked into 44 DK points. And again, in the same spot tonight, probably a spot that's a little more up and down also because you got Westbrook playing for Washington. I think you see a pissed off Jimmy here in a great spot on paper. We talk about this all the time. We usually like Jimmy in get up spots for his team. Well, all of a sudden, with Miami, losing a few in a row, bad losses at home to Charlotte and Washington, this is a kind of a get up spot for him, while also in a supreme matchup on paper. So I like him all the way around. I don't think he gets a lot of love at all. And at 8,300, I think this is a real good spot for him to get 50 plus.
What are the Heat right now? 7-14. It's like a get up spot for him every game until they get above 500.
No doubt.
So yes, it's a play that if you watched the Miami Wizards game last time out, it was just uglier than you would ever expect from any game that includes Washington. Now that has absolutely, in my opinion, zero influence on this game tonight being higher scoring and more up and down. But just the fact that the Wizards are involved, it just freaking should be. Just take last game out as an anomaly. In my opinion, I would bet every dollar I had that the game has a higher game total than the last time these two teams met up 2 days ago.
Same.
All right, next up. So let's talk about Diallo of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So just like a couple days ago, the Thunder guy, there's going to be multiple chalk dudes from the Oklahoma City Thunder. So if you want to go to Maladon, if you want to go to Baisley or Diallo, they're all good plays. They're a little bit more expensive, but one of the newest things is that the Rockets are actually a good defensive team. So it was harder to succeed, and they did it, and they played well. But now they get the Timberwolves, which is about as easy of a matchup as there is out there. So while they are more expensive, they're still in a really good spot to succeed based on their price tags. Last time out, Diallo, who didn't really need to play too deep in this game because it was a blowout, threw up 32 DK points. No Shai Alexander again tonight. Honestly, if you had to tell me or ask me to predict his score above 32 or below 32, it would be a close call, but I'd probably go above, just by a tidbit, though.
It would be a close call. I'm not sure about that, but if I had to choose, it would be above. The more I look at this slate, the more I'm kind of vibing with not going that heavy on the Thunder here. What we talked about that on our members only video. They're not as cheap as they were on the last slate, and it's a much bigger slate. However, man, they're still very affordable. They're still in a really good spot against Minnesota. Still missing Shai. Now missing Dort for the whole game. And a guy like Diallo.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, a glue guy for them. Locked into minutes here. If this were any other spot, I could think about fading all of the Thunder pieces, but too good of a spot for them against Minnesota. Diallo looks too good in this spot at 5,200. I'm with you. If I had to say over or under, I'm going to say over that. And yeah, and you asked me all those. If you had to say over 40 or under 20, I'd say over 40.
Yeah, it's a tough call. He's no lot, but he's a pretty good player who does enough things. In that, Dort doesn't have a big usage rate on their offense. He's more of a DM3 type of player. I was kind of sleeping on that. That's just more guaranteed minutes, if anything, right? They just have less bodies. And while I don't think that changes the offense a ton, it is one less guy in there who would be likely to play 30-plus minutes. So that is a positive benefit to everybody on this team. Also, a positive benefit to this game being more offensively oriented when the best defensive player in this game for either team isn't out there.
No doubt about it.
All right, next up. So,
ooh, damn. I see you.
All right, so long shots of the day. Let's talk about Blake Griffin. And I got a couple of reasons. So I don't think I've played Blake or referenced Blake because he's been more your guy for a long time, or at least last year. This year, I don't think either of us played Blake too often. But he's really, really inexpensive today and is currently projected for under 5% ownership. So while maybe he's not a long shot to play because he is a starter for, a not very good team, he is a long shot as far as his ownership percentage is concerned. With a variety of paydown options across the industry, these guys in the, the 4 to 6K range that aren't Oklahoma City Thunder guys, et cetera, aren't going to get a ton today. This later game, which will already eat into his ownership. And this is one of my favorite points about this. We saw this Pistons team stomp on the Lakers last week. Tomorrow they go to the Lakers. And I say in my heart of heart, I believe the Pistons know they're in for a tough one tomorrow. You don't roll the champs at home and not expect it when you're not a very good basketball team to not get rolled on tomorrow. I think they're playing this game hard tonight. I think they're playing to win this game tonight. And, not that they don't play every game to win, but I think you see a good effort from them tonight in Phoenix. I was looking at Derrick Rose as well, who's also really, really cheap. Jeremy Grant is cheap. Mason Plumlee is cheap. And if you can get it in your mind that you think the Pistons play well, they got a variety of cheap guys tonight, including Blake Griffin. And while he offers a ton of lackluster performances this year, he's riddled with performances in the mid-teens, which is just, it's not good for the Blake that we've known for years. He has, however, smashed in 5 of 16 games this year based on this price tag. I don't consider the Suns the crush spot that they used to be, but I'm not terrified of playing against them. This is not playing against the LA Clippers where you feel like you're in LA, they're great defensively, and they're probably going to roll on you. The Suns are not a crush spot, but they're not the strongest defense in the league or anything like that. So I do think this is a spot for the Detroit Pistons to play their best game tonight. And there's no reason that Blake couldn't replicate one of those 5 games he has this year where he's like 7x on this price tag.
Yeah, he averages cash game plus value at this price. And as far as tomorrow goes, I would expect him not to play tomorrow. So
agreed.
You're going to get like the Pistons' best effort here. I'm with you. He is really cheap. Right, like you mentioned, same price as a bunch of those OKC guys. I get it for sure. We talked about Jeremy Grant as a guy from Detroit. I think Blake Griffin looks good too, especially at this price point.
Yeah, and another thing that might happen is Wayne Ellington is questionable, and he had been eating into the offensive production of a lot of players on that team because he had been knocking down three-pointers like the love child of Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. But if he doesn't play tonight and he appears to be truly questionable, they're going to need to get more offense from other guys, which means they're more likely to lean on the Derrick Roses, Blake Griffins, Jeremy Grants of the world. And all these guys are really, really cheap. The other thing here is like if you really are digging on DeAndre Ayton, who is not expensive today for his price tag, and you want to do like a little GPP game stack, if you're playing Ayton, you're trying to assume that he plays a full allotment of minutes. Well, in that scenario, why couldn't some of the better Pistons players, prove to have some success off their lower price tags today?
No doubt about it.
All right, next up, Frank Mason. And this is your long shot play of the day. And I think there's good reasons to be intrigued by this one. And I'll hit on my reasons why before you get into what you like. One, there's the obvious stuff, right? No Michael Carter-Williams, no Markelle Fultz. Aaron Gordon's now out. And like a married man, boning is no longer a thing that's going to be happening for you with Jordan gone off the team. So he's on a 10-day contract. They want to see what they have right here. And if this game gets lopsided, which just tons of NBA games do these years, like I think you could see 25 minutes of Frank Mason today.
I agree. I feel like he's locked in right now to the back guard, point guard minutes. Like they signed him to a 10-day deal. They're just go ahead.
Who else would it be? There is no other point guard.
So like I feel like that, whether it's 16 to 17, some 18 minutes right there, like he's gonna get that tonight. Possibility for more if he's playing well. Orlando has not been good. What if he provides a spark? Like you mentioned in the second last bullet point, he is a capable DFS player. He's not a great NBA player, but he's a capable offensive player. He was good in college. He's a guy that can run an offense. He has the ball in his hands a lot. We talk about point guards and centers are good filler pieces to use because centers walk into DFS points. Point guards have the ball in their hands a lot. Well, he's that guy. And again, there's multiple avenues for him to get more minutes. If he's playing well, the game gets a little lopsided. Any sort of injury to anyone on Orlando makes them even more shorthanded. they're not a good basketball
Two
team.
quick fouls for Cole Anthony.
Right? Like, they're not a good basketball team. I think they want to see what they have in him. I don't know. It's a true long shot. Like, it's not Blake Griffin because he's not guaranteed any minutes. I mean, sure, he could get a DMP CD. I don't think so, though. And at 3K, like, this is one where I don't think the masses are going to be on. And, like, let's say
don't need it today. They're not going to be here.
Yeah, and like if he has 25 DK points tonight, he'll be chalked tomorrow. So it's kind of like one of those I want to get on a day early.
Yeah, I do think it is a classic day early play. And I also, speaking of being a day early, I cannot stress the importance of this. Both of these teams play each other tomorrow. So this is one of those things that we talk about, the wink and the nod. And these teams knowing that they run it back again tomorrow, like let's just say Zach LaVine, Kobe White, and Markkanen are just flaming hot in the first quarter, and the Bulls are up 37-17 at the end of the first quarter, and that 20-point lead kind of sticks around there. At the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth, coaches might give each other kind of the wink and the nod. They bring in the benches. You can see Frank Mason with 12 minutes in the fourth quarter, or 10 or whatever it might be, going up against the backups of the Chicago Bulls and just kind of playing free and loose, shooting threes, getting to know the offense. It does not take a lot to provide value on 3K. This is a guy, he's not a great NBA player. That's why he's been on 12 teams over the last 2 years or whatever it's been. But he is a capable DFS player. So there are a lot of ways he can get to some version of value. And what I guess is like 2% ownership, 1%?
I would imagine. And you think about it, you got guys like, Maladon, who we've been on recently and who's still wildly in play. But he's not 5K. So the difference in pricing between a guy like Mason and Maladon is substantial. And it's not the craziest scenario to think Mason has a similar score.
Not at all. It's definitely a true long shot, and I think it's worth owning. Like I said, there's no Jordan Bone. Aaron Gordon was running the de facto point guard. Those guys are not there anymore, and this is another point we brought up with these guys on a 10-day contract. Like you saw the Wizards bring in some guys recently, but like they needed bodies. Right now, Orlando's legitimately trying to find a backup point guard. This is a little bit different. They really want to see what they have right here. This is not just hold the space while my guys get off the COVID list. We have been ransacked by injuries, like crazy amounts of injuries. We actually need a warm body here.
Yeah, they got rid of Bone for Mason is what I kind of figured from the move.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you completely there. I mean, Jordan Bone's Jordan Bone. What were you getting out of him? Frank Mason's, he's capable, right? He's not a great NBA player, obviously, but he's capable.
He's had good DFS games before.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not a guy that, he's 3K. And again, it's not like he's guaranteed for anything, but man, he's a guy, like if he gets good minutes, like I feel comfortable he's going to have a good score.
I want to say he dropped a 40-plus game for the Bucks last year at the end of the year in the bubble when they sat everything.
I thought he had a couple of good games for the Kings a couple of
years
ago. But yeah, I remember that Bucks game when they were like so shorthanded.
Yeah, they sat everybody in the bubble getting ready for the playoffs, and Frank Mason got to come out and play 30-some minutes. He was, again, he wasn't a great NBA player, but he had a great DFS game, which is quite frankly the only thing we care about.
All we care about tonight.
All right, guys, that's what we got. Thank you very much. Don't forget to grab those monthly memberships if you want to be grandfathered in with a cheaper price.
Thanks, guys.